Hello, friends! Welcome to our Weird West developers live stream, The Miners and the Restless. My name is Alex. I'm the community manager for Weird West, and I will be your host for today. Weird West, if you don't know, is an immersive sim by Wolfeye Studios, a dark fantasy reimagining of the Wild West where lawmen and gunslingers share the frontier with fantastical creatures. Grab your boots and your trustworthy pickaxe because our latest free update, patch 1.03, aka The Miners and the Restless, is out now. It's available on all platforms, PC, so that's Steam, Epic, GOG. It's on Game Pass, PC Game Pass, Xbox and PlayStation. So we are going to chat more about the features of the patch with you today, and I'll be joined by Julian Roby, the executive producer of Wolfeye Studios. They have more than 25 years experience in the industry with a background in game design. They are the CEO co-founder of Wolfeye Studios and former producer at Arcane Studios. They are a force to be reckoned with as they are an active member in the Discord community. So praise Julian, everybody. And we are joined by Gail Girardieu, the lead systems designer. He has had a fantastic career, previously working at Ubisoft and Arcane. Is a YouTuber streamer where he talks about video game industry and professional game design analysis. So I will pop that in the chat. Praise gags. So before we talk about the patch, we'll watch the latest patch video together. Please enjoy. Welcome back, friends. So I'm joined by Julian and Gail. We just watched the launch video. I've actually just shared in the channel if you want to see it on Devolver's YouTube. So we are going to talk about new features, new content, and I guess, the first thing to talk about is new mines locations, new mine location maps.
Exactly.
Mines are important.
Mines are very important.
Yeah.
Without mines, there wouldn't be life,
Actually, you can mine in mines, you can mine.
Or you can be a miner.
Julien, do you want to talk about it? You want to start?
No, go for it. Okay. So just as a disclaimer for everybody, it's 2 a.m. for me because I'm in Australia, so I will have even less brain than usual. So Gail, you go for it. Explain what mines are.
Okay, so in the previous patch, we already had new locations because we have lots of locations in Weird West world, and by the time when the game came out, we had some repetitivity in some secondary locations using scenarios, quests, and stuff. And so we've pushed a lot, very hard to increase the number of various locations you can find. So on each patch, you have new locations, and on this one, it's the mines that have been increased in terms of variety. And so we have 2 new mines that are quite interesting to explore for the players. One is like a mainly outdoor mine. So I will not tell about the details about it, just like a glimpse of it. It's an outdoor mine and with some like cellars, hidden secrets and new scenarios. And there is another mine which is like very specific as well, like is hidden, small outdoor, but inside you have like as you can see in the screens, a river inside, and miners trying to get some ore in it. So basically some gold. So basically those two mines brings new scenarios, brings new exploration, and we'll see in the additional features as well new loot. So player will have more variety, experiencing secondary quests and exploring the world.
To go along with that, it's also worth noting that we fixed a few issues which was exacerbating the problem of repetitivity. One of them that when you start a new game and it creates the world, so all the journey locations are predetermined on the map, but all the secondary locations are random, so their position is random on the map, and what actual map file and layout the location used is also random. But what we found out recently is that something that we thought was working was not working. Shocker. But essentially, if for instance we had created, let's say, 4 mine maps that the game could pull from to create mine location, the system was unfortunately not checking how many times the map was used. So if you were lucky, sometimes you would have 4 mine locations and the 4 of them would be using each different map. But sometimes they would be all using the same map because the system just kept on reusing the same one without checking if the other one were used or not. So just technicalities, but just to say that on top of providing some new content, we also massaged and fixed a little bit the way the content was used so that it would be the pacing would be a bit better and less reusage by mistake, essentially. So hopefully people like it.
Yeah. And shall we go on to talk about new aiming system options?
So the one thing to know with the aiming system is that we know it's one thing that works well for some people and works a bit less for others. So we are mindful of that feedback and we've been looking at different options. It's complicated in our case in Wild West because we have a lot of verticality in the game. Like when you play the game, you can shoot at people who are on the first floor, on the second floor, on the rooftop, or on the ground, which is something usually twin stick shooter don't do. So that's why we have different challenge than other game may have, which are also different, more complex problem to solve in that regard. So we are aware that it's not perfect for everybody. So what we did for dispatch is that we added some option to make combat a bit less overwhelming, so people have more time to understand what's going on. One of them is to slow down the time while you are aiming, which you can set in the option to either be off entirely if you don't want it, or a tiny bit, a bit more, or a lot more. And the other option, what is the second option again, Kim?
It's the aim assist. So basically, it assists you when you try to aim a target. You have like more range. If you don't perfectly aim at it, it still aims the target, so it's more comfortable for aiming. Just adding that the slowdown time here, what is interesting is that it slows down everything. So like it's not like a real cheat. It's like even your character is slowed down as all other enemies, but you have more time to aim. So basically, it's less overwhelming, as Julien said. I would just add another thing is that you can see it in the game footage right now. If you observe the bullets are way more visible now. We've added an effect on it. They are a bit bigger, so you clearly see where people shoot at you, and it's mixed with those two options. I think player will have better time aiming if they had trouble before.
The other thing I would add, and it's probably something we want to talk at the end, but we are also aware that again, I think it's really depending on how you play and how you want to control the game, but we are also mindful that some people have been giving us feedback that they are a bit annoyed with not being able to turn the camera while they're aiming. So we've been prototyping an actual alternate aiming system where the camera control is not removed when you aim. But it's taking obviously a bit of time because it's a completely different system. So we keep on playing with it until we find something that we like. And hopefully that may come in the next patch if we manage to make a good progress and it's convincing. But we just wanted to say that we are still working. It's not like we are done with it. We are still working on improving it and giving more options and trying different ideas to try to make it work better for people who have not the best experience with it, I would say.
Yeah. So I'm impatient to see players' comments. You are all guys welcome to to chat on the Wild West Discord, give feedbacks. It helps a lot. I mean, your feedbacks are the best for us to improve the game. So thank you for that. Thank you for those who are already answering and giving feedbacks.
Yeah. And shall we go on to talk about player progression overhaul?
Yep. So that's also one topic which was a bit controversial at the release of the game. We tried to do something different with the Wild West in the sense that the game is separated in 5 journeys where you take control of 5 different characters. But however, we have probably underestimated a little bit when we released the game the fact that every time you do a journey, if you want to focus on the same abilities, you actually have to relearn them. So you kind of spend a lot of time redoing things that you had done already in the previous journey. So we corrected that for that patch. We're trying a new model essentially where when you end the journey, so the first thing is that we changed the cost of each abilities. So the class abilities only cost 1 relic, and the weapon ability now costs 3 relics. So the class abilities with 1 relic are like the short-term investment. You can buy them for this journey. It's pretty cheap to get, but they won't persist to the next journey. And the weapons ability are a bit more expensive, but once you get them for the entire game. So the next hero you get in the next journey will receive those weapon abilities as well. And of course, any class abilities you learn with your previous heroes, I will still use them in the next journey as AIs.
As follower, yeah. It goes. Yes. Actually, we can. It's difficult to add details because it goes with the 2 next sections actually. Because when you change the progression system, you make this overall RPG modification, then you need to rework the economy. You need to work some stuff that we will see in a minute. But so we'll have more detail, I guess.
The challenge we had with the game originally, the way we had designed it, is that at the same time we want to make sure that you feel like you're progressing from the beginning till the end. Mm-hmm. But there was also some sort of loop that was finishing at the end of each journey. So it was kind of 2 contradictory ideas that were fighting with each other. So what we try to do with this patch between this and the game economy is that we try to make it so that it feels more like a one experience from beginning to an end with the progression rather than kind of plateauing or resetting throughout the game. So hopefully it's a bit more consistent and a bit smoother, I guess, in terms of progression.
Sorry, everybody, I've got a bit of a cough today. So shall we go into full game economy balancing?
Yeah, that's kind of related to what we were discussing about, which is we try to rebalance the game. So the previous version of the game, I think once you had finished the bounty hunter journey, very often you already had, like, you bought a horse, you bought your safe deposit at the bank, you got all the weapons you wanted almost. So we try to stagger this a little bit more so that it doesn't feel like you have seen most of the game in the bounty hunter journey. It's a bit more progressive. And also we change a little bit around the economy. We change the prices of things and how much resources are able to be resold. And also did things, and it's again overlapping between progression and economy. But for instance, now when you buy a horse, once you recruit your hero in the next journey, you'll get your horse back and so on. So you don't have to buy the horse 5 times in the game. So anyway, I think the point is when we released the game, we tried different ideas, some which were a bit different from how a game works usually. And some of them worked, some of them didn't work. So the goal with this patch is to readjust a lot of the things that didn't work, I guess, from those experiments, based on how players reacted to them, and make sure that we actually listen to what people were saying.
And regarding economy, I would add, I'm not sure, Julien, you mentioned it, but you mentioned almost everything, is that you will also keep your money, which is really important because in the previous version, the game was opening a lot for the player in the first journey. So you had lots of bounties to do. You could farm them literally. You have lots of secondary quests. You were making a lot of money. You were buying a lot of things, and then you were losing a lot to go to the second character. And now it's like complete different game, really, when you play it, because you earn a little bit less money, but you will keep it through the entire game. You keep your abilities, you keep your money, you keep your horse. So it's like a one ride with 5 destiny, you know? And so we had to rework all the prices, and we'll see in the next section, we have also added some loot. So now there is a better progression as well in terms of rarity of weapons and what you can find.
Yes. Love to keep my horse. Love to keep my money.
The ammo from your weapon also transfer now from one character to another.
Yes, so let's go on to talk about new weapon loot.
We've also seen, we didn't talk about it, but let's keep the secret, but we've also seen a new location based on this progression system. So what we were seeing is also a new location, but we'll let the player discover what it is.
I love horses are for life, not just for a journey. So yeah, what new weapon loot we're on, aren't we?
Do you want to talk about that again?
Yep. So new weapon load. Actually, we had a different level of rarity for the weapons, but now player will be able to find rare weapons with perks on them. So you can find a tier 1 or tier 2 weapon, but next time you can find a tier 2 weapon with a small perk. Like it could be a small bonus, it could be a better bonus, it could impact critical damages, it could ignore armor of enemies. It has some attributes. So based on your build and what you like to do in the game, you can choose one or the other, and you can also forge one weapon from tier 1 to tier 5 because you like this perk and you want to play with it, combine with your abilities, combine with your gameplay style. So like it brings a lot of more variety in the weapon you can find. And so I think it combined with the new locations and combined with this progression system where you keep you keep your abilities, you keep your money, then you can like really have this better variety in the progression.
This patch is interesting, I think, because we've been trying a lot of new things. So sometimes I think you might see some new things that we try which are just a small in scope, because it's basically we're trying the idea and see how people react to it, and then it will inform us if we want to do more of that or push more in that direction and detail it more. But that's a bit what we're trying with the weapon loot, see what kind of approach would work. The other thing also to remember, I'm just saying that so that people don't feel sometimes that we are not listening, we're trying to take all the feedback into account when we reach back about loot or stuff like that. Yeah. The thing we have to remember as well is that the game is already all done. So at this, when you have a game of this size, which is already all completed, sometimes you're a bit constrained by what's already in place to be able to add or create more stuff, because you have all the constraints of what's already there. So there's a bit of inertia in terms of being able to do a larger scope change, essentially. Yeah. We're trying our best with this patch to add a lot of it.
Yeah. And we've also reworked, I mean, among all the bug fixing, there are a lot of bug fixing. We have also reworked like how we spread surprises in the world among all the 5 journeys. And now I think player will have like a better experience after the first journey. After the second journey, they will still discover some surprise, and the secondary content will guide them to progress into this one unique ride with the progression system.
That's great. So let's talk about next is revamped companion AI.
Yeah, it's a hot subject actually. Companions are always a deal in video games. Like it's rarely like super cool. You first need to make them not too annoying, and then try to work on cool things. And we had cool things in the game, but honestly, to be honest, I mean, they were not working as we wanted. We had some bugs as well with them. So we took some time really, because it was a complaint, to rework them. So now they are way more reactive. They are able to join you back when you flee, when they are very far from you. So basically they are more useful. And we've also reworked the armor system. So basically now you can equip vests. It's really important to protect them. They better use their abilities. So, I mean, we're impatient to see as well player feedback. I think there is a great improvement here when you play the game with followers, and that's important for us.
Yeah, AI in general will still be a focus for us even for the next patch, but I think it was a good step forward with this patch in terms of addressing the issues like followers, which were like sometimes blocked or disappearing or not engaging in combat at all. So it should be a bit less erratic in that view.
Yeah. I'm gonna miss my chaotic companions.
That's a feature.
Yeah, it's a feature, not a bug. So next we can talk about characters reputation tracker.
Yep. So one of the reasons we wanted to do that tracker, it doesn't really add more gameplay to the game. It's more that it allows to understand better, expose some of the systems. Like a lot of time when you play in the game, you make friends for life, or you have people starting vendettas on you. But either you don't necessarily always notice them in the action, or you don't keep track of them, or you're recruiting a character from the previous journey and you're not sure to remember how many people are dragging with them. Because essentially, for instance, if you start the game with the bounty hunter and you have 5 people who have a vendetta against you by the end of the bounty hunter journey, when you recruit Jane in the next journey, you will have all those vendettas also coming after you because you have Jane in your group. So it's a good way to remember what's going on in the world in terms of what people are out for you and which one can still intervene to help you during combat. And it also adds a little bit of background about the characters, about their stories and so on for the story characters. And you can see the portraits as well, which is
yeah, I would absolutely forget, and then someone would just start a fight with me, and I'd be like, I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
You mean nothing to me. So that's good. That's great. The final bit, I guess, was just if we want to mention anything else, any additional features in the patch.
No, I mean, there's been a lot of bug fixing. Like we are totally mindful that the game, when it came out, was a bit rough around the edges, unfortunately. And we are doing our best to address all of that. So we just want to reassert the fact that we are still dedicated to that, and we're going to work on it until it's in a good state for everybody. But I really feel this patch is a really big step forward in terms of the overall game.
Yeah.
So we hope people are going to like it, and we have more in stock for the next ones.
Yeah. We also made the fact that the players that already started the game in a previous patch, so regarding the player progression overall and all other things, so they will be able to choose if they want to keep the old ability cost. We wanted the player not to be like totally in the middle of a playthrough, so they will have the possibility to choose if they want to go through the new system.
The other thing I want to mention as well, probably it's important for people playing on Xbox, is that now the game was already running at 60 FPS on PS5 and Xbox Series X if you play the game with backward compatibility since it's an Xbox One game originally. But now it's also been uncapped and optimized so that it runs also at 60 FPS in most cases in Xbox Series S as well. So hopefully people will enjoy that too.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time today, Julian and Gail. I want to say thanks to everybody in the Discord, anybody that's jumped into the fantastical frontier. I want to say praise Yeb, a massive, massive, massive thank you to our moderators. You are amazing. And I saw you did an amazing job today with all the bots. Thank you for all your hard work. Thanks to Special Reserves. You can check out Pigman Joe's Tour de Weird West art book. There's no Q&A today, so that's because you can join us here on the Discord, chat to us, ask us questions. I've just popped the link, but don't forget we have a feedback board, the official Weird West feedback board, where you can add suggestions and vote on things like we've just discussed in the patch now, and you can kind of see things that are coming up next and what we're planning to do. So you can follow us on Twitter at Wolfeye Games. You can follow us on Instagram at Wolfeye Studios. Shout out to music in Weird West, Weird Wolves and Choose Health. And again, don't forget to go like, smash, and subscribe Gag's YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
but it's in French. But it's in French.
It's in French.
It's in French. But
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Shameless plug. I just wanted to add on the feature vote board that we are not necessarily always replying to everything all the time because it's quite time consuming to stay engaged on that, plus Discord, plus Steam, plus everything. And we're also very busy with the game itself. But just wanted to repeat that we are reading everything that's there, even if we don't reply. And we're trying at least every time we ship a patch after the patch, go in there and take notes and reply to things as much as we can to plan for the next patch. So we are looking at all of it.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, and massive thanks to our community again.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone, for your feedbacks.
Yeah, thank you. So we'll leave you to watch the patch video once more. Thanks again. Stay weird. We'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Thank you. Thanks, Alex.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.